From cornflakes to the pacemaker, many of our great inventions have been happy accidents that have resulted from people trying things. According to my parents, I myself am one of those happy accidents. Ready? Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I am arguing the motion that I would try everything in life at least once, and in fact that this house should try everything in life once. Of course, logically, that would mean that I should stand up at the Oxford Union and argue that everything in life shouldn't be tried once, at least once. So, ladies and gentlemen, everything in life should not be tried once. Now that I've tried arguing that everything in life shouldn't be tried once, I can move on to arguing the proposition of this motion. Now, my strange colleague Archie over there is going to tell you that there are too many dreadful things in existence to risk trying all, or indeed any of them, even once. Incest, for example. It's the obvious one, clearly. We must all here, of course, accept the entirely scientific fact of Adam and Eve, God's first human creations. Adam and Eve were the first of us. They had children, and those children clearly had children. They tried incest just once. They did. They just fucking did it. They tried it once, and look what happened. We all ended up here in this magnificent world. If Adam and Eve's children didn't themselves have children, you, me, the president of this hallowed chamber, we wouldn't be here. If it weren't for incest, this debate wouldn't even be happening. We are all from incest. No incest, no Oxford. And now furthermore on the point of incest. And stop laughing now, this is actually quite serious. This really is serious. We have a slowing birth rate. Now I don't know how many of you... Okay, no, this is serious. Now, I don't know how many of you are here from Norfolk or have met the children of siblings, but two things to note. One, incest is a sure way to give our birth rates the bump they need. Two, kids with 11 fingers are very industrious. Just think what we could achieve with incest. Okay, stay with me here. Stay with me. The world record for touch typing is held by Barbara Blackburn at 200... Now listen, this is important. A bit of order, please. The world record for touch typing is held by Barbara Blackburn at 212 words per minute. Or if you want, 21.2 words per finger per minute. But if Barbara had 11 fingers, she'd be looking at 233.2 words per minute. That's a 10% increase, guys. That would do wonders for productivity. Anyway, incest aside, it's enough of the incest. During my extensive research in preparation of supporting this motion, I stumbled across a pattern that piqued my interest. That pattern was that the most successful of us are people who say yes to trying something at least once, or everything at least once, for that matter. Boris Johnson, for example, who famously, whilst everyone was locked down during a global pandemic, said yes to a Downing Street piss-up. An absolute belter of the try-it-once theory. Really good, Boris. Prince Andrew went to Pizza Express in Woking just once. Incredible. Really, really good. Really good. Justin Trudeau. Well, he's dressed up as quite a few characters at least once. This isn't just a modern idea, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus tried walking on water just once, and it fucking worked! He did it. So as I was saying, it's not a new concept to try everything once. It is the fabric of everything we are. It is how we got to where we are right here and now. If the Wright brothers hadn't decided to try flying just once, well, there would be no planes. If there were no planes, there would be no 9/11. That wasn't the joke. It's just a very serious debate. As I was saying, there would be no planes. If there were no planes, there would be no 9/11. With no 9/11, there would have been no invasion of Iraq. With no invasion of Iraq, there would be no Iraqi refugees. With no Iraqi refugees, there would be no Yalm al-Yalsam. With no Yalm al-Yalsam, there would be nowhere to get great Iraqi food in London. Which gives me the perfect opportunity to thank George W. Bush, Tony Blair, and the 101st Airborne. It's not finished. Without those people, I wouldn't have bonded with a girl called Ellie over Iraqi food. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be marrying her in February of next year. It was a bit of a tenuous link, but you see where I'm coming from. Yes?
Do you think that's what Tony Blair meant when he said things can only get better?
I can only imagine it must have been. Yes, exactly. To add to that, if the Wright brothers hadn't got in a plane, I wouldn't have found love. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that one thing leads to another. Every action is part of a chain that leads to a series of other actions. Now, I am no fool. I fully understand the hesitation to embrace this beautiful idea. Of course I will. You didn't say do it. I note the gentleman didn't say that I should do it now. Yes. Gotta tuck my shirt back in now. Now back to it. So I fully understand that there are downsides to this, like losing your liberty, perhaps. Well, let me tell you, youth of today, frankly, your liberty isn't worth it. You are heading into the worst economy in a broken Brexit Britain where you will be overworked and underpaid. You will not be able to buy a house or go on holiday or afford to have children. So try everything once, including prison. There, whilst you're enjoying your square 3 meals a day, a TV in your room, you will continue to try new things that will inspire and enlighten you, like anal sex. You might. Ladies and gentlemen, to not try everything once implies the ultimate bias of this academic audience, which is to live purely in the land of the theoretical and not of the empirical. Life cannot be lived in textbooks and theory, but must be tried through lived experience and trial and error. How many wonders would we have missed out on if it were not for trying everything once? Penicillin was created from an accident as Alexander Fleming left his petri dish on the counter in his lab. If he was to have cleaned it, as he did every other day, millions would have died from missing out on antibiotics. From cornflakes to the pacemaker, many of our great inventions have been happy accidents that have resulted from people trying things. According to my parents, I myself am one of those happy accidents. Break out of the dull, laborious, repetitive existence and give things a go. It is only through this that we can facilitate the breakthroughs that serve our great nation. Without this spirit, we would have stopped at one direction. None of them would have gone at it alone, and this world would have missed out on the global superstar that is Louis Tomlinson. It would have been such a shame. We could have avoided the Second World War had Germany realized that trying to invade everyone in the world once was in fact enough. Because of World War I. Repetition is in fact overrated. Take it from a soon-to-be married man. It is only in knowing what we don't know that we illuminate what we do. Fight against the comfort and security of repetition and rage against the dying of the light. Trying everything once will test you. There is absolutely no doubt of that. But to test oneself is to live. If no one had ever embraced the idea of trying everything once, we would still be atoms floating around in non-existence. There would be no Big Bang, no planes, no plants, no animals, no Alison Hammond. The thought alone is absolutely crippling. Life as we know it is impossible without this motion. And in fact, I refer back to my original point, which is that to try everything once includes not trying everything once. So by the very notion of the motion, we had won this debate before it had even begun, because every single one of us is here because of this notion. We are all one in this world. We all evolved from a single set of atoms who decided to try something just once, which then led to everything, all of this. You, me, that strange posh man over there, we are all one, and we're all constantly trying everything at least once. That is life. That is the human experience, a constant, unfathomable expression of trying everything once. It can be beautiful, it can be horrific, but it is how we began, and it is simply how we have to continue. So unless this house proposes that we halt our evolution as a species, I declare it imperative that this motion is passed in favor of trying everything once.